My memory slipping away from me, I paid my Bedouin guide and held my hat against the wind. Spelunky. The day was December 2nd, 2015. And on this day, early in the morning, an adventurer, a young adventurer by the name of Timothy, wandered off into that terrible desert, descended into the depths of that terrible mine, the one that had already claimed so many lives. And who was Timothy to encounter soon upon his descent but a handsome gentleman? Timothy blushed at the sight of this gentleman, and the gentleman fainted, allowing Timothy to carry him to safety. Timothy was a Boy Scout. He knew how to rough it, and he knew how to handle bats and spiders. As a scout leader often told him, the best thing to do is to stomp on them or kill them on sight with your whip. Of course, in his troop, every Boy Scout was equipped with a bullwhip and taught just how to crack it to maximum effectiveness. Timothy received a kiss from the handsome gentleman and moved on through the mine. He had picked up many shiny gems that he assumed were very valuable. He wasn't wrong. But he wouldn't know their full value until he had emerged once again to the surface. If he were to emerge to the surface. For from the time that we've been cataloging these adventures, none have been so fortunate as to emerge safely back out into the desert. This was not obvious to Timothy. He knew nothing of the history of this place. He knew nothing of Harriet or Ivan the Viking. He simply knew what he had known yesterday and the day before, that he liked to explore, that he liked to climb through caves, discover mysterious and terrible creatures. He picked up a key the size of him and unlocked a chest containing a rare artifact that he quickly pocketed. Timothy encountered another handsome gentleman, but this gentleman, rather than carrying him to safety and receiving a kiss on the way out, he instead laid on a bloody altar that he found. Once the man had passed out, Timothy laid him on this altar and watched him implode in a pool of blood. A compass appeared in exchange. Kali seemed to be pleased. Timothy smiled, smirked creepily. Totally worth, he said. My scout leader would be proud. And carried on. Timothy found another lost man and said, "Perhaps this time I can atone for the last one's sacrifice," and carried him to safety. He eagerly received a loud kiss from the man before wandering another 100 meters down into the depths of these mines. Timothy found a pickaxe. Besides that, those next 100 meters were not too eventful. But on the 400th meter down into those mines, Timothy discovered an entrance covered with leaves and ivy. It was an entrance to an underground jungle. "My God," he said to himself, shaking his head. "What have I discovered?" And shortly after emerging into this wonderful and strange place, Timothy felt the artifact he had obtained earlier start to vibrate. It vibrated even more violently the closer he came to a certain part of the cave. And so soon he came to believe that perhaps he had obtained some kind of tracking device. He used his new pickaxe to clobber through the wall. And indeed, there was a secret exit that he eagerly chose to explore. Foolishly, though, he left his pickaxe behind. And what was it but some kind of black market, filled with more shops. Everything he could imagine was for sale here. Everything except for bombs. And he needed bombs. Timothy knew that he wanted to rob this place, as full of riches and valuable items as it was. But without bombs, he saw no other way to do it than to purchase an ice gun and shoot the owner of one of those places. Still, the task ahead was tricky. There's a seemingly uncountable number of men with guns, and only one of him. Every move he had to choose carefully. Soon he found a ghost. Not just men with guns, but a ghost coming after him. Sadly, he met his end by the hands of one of those awful men. The men that began shooting at him only because he had killed them. He ended with his journey $30,000 richer, but of course he would never spend a penny of it. And what would a 12-year-old boy spend it on anyways? His troop found out that he had died on one of his adventures, or, at the very least, had disappeared, for no one dared enter those mines to discover his body. It was quite the unceremonious burial.